Ah, I love my giant Baymax head full of coffee right now. Hello and welcome to the Part-Time Gamers, the gaming podcast for people with full-time lives. I am Cyranex, clocking in with my good friends Crystal and 9 of 12. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Doing good.
All right, man.
Yay. So, how you guys been doing the last couple weeks? You know, we able to get some Dead by Daylight in last week and show the week before that. How you guys been doing since then?
It was fun. Doing good. Doing well. I
Very descriptive.
September.
What? Spooky games. Looking forward to more spooky games.
Yes, I always love October. October is weather-wise is my favorite time of the month or favorite time of the year, and just the whole aesthetic of October I think is awesome.
I like it too. I do.
You know-
And actually, I'm disappointed in the weather here. I mean, not this week, but like next week, it's going to be 80s again, and I'm like, come
Really?
on. Really? Do we need that right now? We don't
No.
need that right now.
Yeah, here in North Carolina, it's been like 90 and humid the last few days. It's
That's not
horrible.
right. That's not right.
Yeah,
It's fall.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean we just like the last. It's strange, but the last 2 days here have been like muggy and rainy and like 60 degrees out, and I love that.
Like, I don't really like it being like super muggy or anything, but just it being 60 is totally okay with me. I
Yeah.
want to be able to put on a long sleeve shirt and not feel like I'm gonna sweat to death.
Yeah,
That's what I
pretty
like.
much.
I like to be able to do that. Like, oh, I have to go outside. Oh, I should put a long sleeve shirt on. Like, this is the time of year when I'm okay with that. So
Yeah, I just
90,
love.
90s, 80s, not cool.
Yeah, I love sweatshirt weather in general.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's
Yeah,
still brutal
when-
here for some reason.
When it eventually gets there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just also the different colors and the trees. Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year, so it's just loving October. Although I'm still not sure if I'm going to have a different Halloween costume this year or not.
Oh, that's not even in the cards for me. None of that is going on. I've been way too busy for that. Like Alicia saved some like this like molding clay or something. It's like this like Play-Doh stuff
Yeah.
that you can make stuff out of, and they come in these little containers. And we got them when her sister came up for a little while. Oh, they literally are Play-Doh containers. Okay, well, anyways, we're handing those out on Halloween as opposed to candy because we got like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
They're like these
Cool.
little things. Yeah, they're. I thought that was a cool idea. So that.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I-
are giving candy too. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm being given live updates. So yes, candy's happening as well, which is good because it's Halloween, I suppose. So
Yeah.
that's happening.
Yeah, we're not planning on handing out candy this year. At least our place. We're going to be going over to my grandma's place and just hanging out there. But yeah, for like the last 2 or 3 years, I've always just worn my pirate outfit because I always have that ready. And
Right.
I'm actually
And
going
you got to get your money's worth out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Since I spent like I think $80 on the shirt alone at the Renfest, but
Dude, that costume was like $500.
probably it was
I
probably
don't
like
remember it.
it was quite a bit, but it was over like the course
It
of
was a lot of
like
money.
3 or 4 years that I
It was,
got it.
Yeah, it was a few years. Yeah, it wasn't like one go, but
Yeah.
it was expensive.
Yeah. But I'm
Nobody
hoping...
comes to my house. We're out in the boonies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Really?
But-
Like you're that far away from the road? Or from, like,
Yeah,
the main road? Yeah.
yeah. Well, like it's a main road, but it's like a 45-mile-an-hour road, and
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to go up a really steep stone driveway. Like it's not really visible. So
Mm.
You're not gonna
no
be
one
able to
comes
get lost on
here.
that.
But
That's
I'm
too bad.
collecting costumes for the kids in the local shelters.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that a number of years now. They give me a list of how many kids they have at different sizes and ages, and I make sure everyone has a costume.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
That is
really
pretty
nice.
cool. So you live in like a more secluded kind of.
Well, it's like
House?
only 4 miles from downtown, but it's
Sure.
a small town to begin with.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
to just drive from the downtown area to my house,
Yeah.
you have to pass like cow pastures.
Well, that
Yeah.
means that you're in like the perfect place for a Halloween party. You don't go out, you just have a party and have people over.
Right.
Yeah.
Just set, I can set a big fire in the yard and have
Yeah,
a party.
that's
Yeah.
what you got to do. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's why I really want to do
Although
it.
this year my husband's got a gig, and they're all gonna dress in costume.
Yeah.
That means you gotta, right?
Well, I've got my Ren Fair dress, so
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is
and
one
I
of the.
dyed a white streak in my hair, so I'm kind of gonna be Polgara.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
That's one of the nice things about going to Ren Fair in
You can
costume
just-
is
yeah,
that
you
like
can just
you
get-
have that as a backup,
Yeah.
right?
The problem is it hasn't been my backup. It's been just my go-to for the last like 4 years. So
Yeah, you know, I've got like a couple really nifty looking skeleton masks and robes downstairs that I can always just throw something on if I want to. So I'm never really super. I never really need to go out and get anything if I don't want to. But
Yeah.
this year we're probably not dressing up or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Well, last year I went a little nuts, and like we were out in the pub, but I changed costumes a couple times throughout the night.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I had my
exhausting.
Josie costume, the same one I wore for Nerdtacular cosplay contest. But I wore that last Halloween, and then at one point I ran to my car and I changed into the Pikachu suit we have.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I ran out again and I changed into my Eeyore Union suit.
Oh,
and
man.
what was the other one? I don't know. There were like 3 or 4 costumes. I kept going back to the pub, and people were like, weren't you
Yeah.
just
Last year we went over to a buddy's place for Halloween, and my brother and his wife dressed up as what's his name, Zap Brannigan and Leela from
Really?
Futurama, and
Nice.
they were like the perfect costumes. My brother
Man.
had on they were like high heeled boots, you know, like the long white ones like Zap wears, and he was like not wearing pants under his
Oh
under
my
his,
God.
his long tunic. It
Yeah,
was
I'm-
it was really funny.
I'm kind of sad and glad at the same time that I did not see that.
Oh, it was good. And then she had like it looked like, I can't remember what she made the eye out of, but it was like strapped around, you know, the back of her head.
Yeah.
It worked out really well. They looked awesome.
Can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious now how she did that eye.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll have to ask
carefully.
her. I can't remember. It was some kind of a mask thing, but it looked neat.
Yeah.
They both looked great.
Oh,
I got a new phone.
really?
I
Ooh.
got a new phone. I had to. My other phone, which for a long time, I guess I just don't remember stuff. I have a really horrible memory. I thought my phone was the S7, but actually I was running the S6. I mean, this thing it's a little outdated, you know, considering that what
Yeah.
is S8 out now?
Yeah, right. Talking to
So-
the guy who has the Samsung POS.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're doing that for like financial reasons, and
Yeah.
like you don't want to spend a whole butt ton of money, and I don't blame you for that, you know. And
There's-
Alicia's running the iPhone 4 still, so
Yeah,
like
that's
you
what
know,
I actually replaced with this Samsung was an iPhone
Yeah.
4.
Exactly. So I was like, you know what? And it wasn't even just because I was running an outdated phone, because, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't want to spend money on a phone, so I'll run it into the ground. And I pretty much did. Like it got to the point where it was just restarting and then freezing all the time. And the final straw was I was driving out somewhere. I was driving out to Ann Arbor, actually. I had to go somewhere specific in Ann Arbor. I was taking the boys to like a violin lesson or something, and it just cut out. My GPS cut out, and I was like, crap, I don't know where to go. And I had to like quickly develop a reset the phone in order to get it back up so that I could pull the map back up. And I was like, nope, never doing this again. So I
Awesome.
got the Pixel XL,
Oh yeah,
and it's been pretty awesome.
Nice.
It was a good buy.
cool,
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's been working out pretty good.
awesome. Well, before we start going down too many rabbit holes, we should probably get into our water cooler talk. All right, starting with Zach, what did you bring today?
I brought an article about the 2 new Oculus VR headsets that were just recently. I believe they're. When was this? This was on the 12th. So today, actually, this is when this was updated. This is earlier. So there's, and you know, I'm not like I haven't been into the VR scene in a while. Actually, not since like all the hype was going on, because I honestly don't even own one of the headsets. But I've always loved the idea of it, and I like what it like the potential behind it. So I think that's pretty cool. But I was never willing to spend like $800 on any kind of VR headset because I was like, forget that, man. I don't have that kind of money. But so Oculus has announced a new VR headset, a standalone one called Oculus Go. Doesn't require a PC or a smartphone or anything like that. All the hardware is built right into the headset. It's going to be $200, which is pretty amazing. But that being said, I think basically the games that it plays are like the Gear VR apps and stuff. So which is like one of those phone headsets. So you're not playing like the AAA VR titles or whatever that you're going to find on Steam. But I'm sure there are some games on there that will be compatible with it. But it's a lower end one, but it's an entry into the realm of VR at a much more affordable price. So I think that's pretty cool. And then there was some update for their Project Santa Cruz, which is a wireless headset with built-in cameras for positional tracking, so they don't need external sensors.
Wow.
And those kits are going to be out within a year, but they didn't give like a price for that one. So I don't know how much that one's going to cost. I imagine that's going to be a lot more. But the actual Oculus Rift headset, the one that's out right now, did receive a permanent price cut. It's now only $400. So I thought that was $8 before, and they slashed it in half pretty much, which has been a long time coming, if you ask me. I'm still not going to spend $400 on it because I don't have the kind of money for that. But I'm glad that that's finally coming down in price so that more people can kind of get into it, because there's no way that technology is going to spread until people can actually afford it. So.
Well, I understand they also announced some kind of enterprise solutions stuff they're working on with that.
What's that, Oculus? Or Facebook, I should say. With Project Santa Cruz, or with
with the Go headset and like software partnerships or something with. So it would be interesting to see how it's applied in business solutions.
Yes.
Kind of the way Google Glass got entry and stuck there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Microsoft was trying stuff. They've been, they were promoting a whole bunch of their stuff, and I can't remember what their thing was called for the life of me right now. It'll come to me at some point. But they were demoing that not too long ago, and I just haven't heard a peep out of them about it from this point. And maybe that's just because I just have not been paying attention to virtual reality stuff, or because I don't own anything like that I don't get any news about it. I don't know how that's set up. But yeah, I always thought that would be a really cool way to kind of get the tech more widespread, is definitely tap into that business market, tap into that corporate marketplace, see if you can get people to jump on board. But hope maybe Oculus can do it. I mean, they are Facebook technically, so
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. It's exciting.
I mean, I agree with you that making it more accessible is going to be definitely a good thing. Just the initial price point was hard.
Impossible to swallow. Impossible to swallow, especially because, I mean, if you really boil it down to it, it's a peripheral. Like, it's a computer peripheral. Yes, it's more fancy than like buying a keyboard or a mouse, but it's an $800 peripheral. I mean, that's a lot. And some people say, oh, well, look at it like you're buying a monitor. I don't buy an $800 monitor. that's right. It's crazy. So I don't know, but I'm glad it's coming down. Hopefully everything else will follow. I hope the Rift drops in price. I hope they all just kind of become affordable.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
All right, Ember, how about you today?
Well, Discord has finally made video chat and screen share available to everyone.
Yes.
Apparently the group video calls let you chat with up to 10 people.
Excellent.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
I was playing with it a little bit today. I don't know, man. It works fine on my Mac, but it doesn't like the cam I have on my PC, and I tried it in other applications. So it's not like my driver is, outdated or anything else. As a matter of fact, it worked on Facebook. I could do, live video on Facebook. So it's not the cam, but it won't work in that Discord chat. I'll probably drop them a line to their support so they can have that information.
Well, I think a little while back we did have it. I had it working fine on mine, but this is I don't know if they've probably subsequently updated it, because I haven't used it in a while, because I somehow got into that beta and was able to use it
Well, I'm
and
really
it worked
curious.
okay.
I mean, they're looking at this like, gaming and
Yeah.
taking over from Skype and TeamSpeak and stuff.
Yeah.
This article says TeamSpeak, which is
Yeah.
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 Okay. Um, but for me, I'm curious about using it for, purposes like in Geek Grills or in this podcast. I know we were
Yeah.
trying to work with it for recording, live streaming situations. So
Yes.
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to try to be setting it up for. And I guess I'll keep post how it goes for me. But apparently in the test phase, they had a lot of issues that they've ironed out. Like you couldn't use more than 5. Bugs were
Yeah.
affecting texts. Muting wasn't working, but they feel confident now. So everyone's got it.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have to boot it up again and try it just to see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was impressed with what they were doing, but yeah, it still needed some things that to kind of be ironed out. So
Yeah.
Hey, if it works, it's a long
Yeah.
time coming to get this solution all wrapped into one place.
Totally.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying to get working for exactly the same thing you said. Trying to, because I really want to record our video and stuff for the show and for part-time gaming. Get your video in it as well, so it's not just me in the upper corner looking like an idiot.
Never.
What? Never
Okay.
me looking like an idiot, or never you guys on there?
Right. I was trying to be nice. Yeah, that's all right though.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I mean we'll be on there eventually. But
All right, definitely looking forward to that. And for me today, I brought still one of, granted, a game I have not played in quite a while, but a game I
long.
still thoroughly enjoy. Smash Up, which is one of the earlier games that we talked about on the show, has finally come out with a digital version that is available on Steam, from the Google Play Store, and the iMac or the Mac Apple Store.
the
that
Mac
one.
Apple Store.
Yes. Wow, not enough coffee.
That's all right.
And also coffee never works for me anyways. But yeah, it has they released a digital version as of, I think, earlier today it came out actually. And really looking forward to being able to pick that up, try it out, be able to actually just play the game again. I miss how fun the game was, just coming up with wild combos and going from there. I'm not entirely sure how many factions it starts with, because this whole time they've been releasing more and more expansions, and I'm not sure how many. I haven't necessarily kept up with it, so I'm not sure how many factions they have now. I don't know how many there are going to be in the digital version, but still, it's similar to, I think, to Star Realms. I think it's going to be cool to have that available on my phone if it plays it. I'll just kill some time with it.
Might.
Might.
Very
It
well
depends on. Yeah, it depends on. I might want to actually check it up on Steam.
I just looked at it now. It's like $5 or something.
Oh, really?
$4.99. Yeah, it's like $4.99. I don't know what that includes. I was trying to find out, but it didn't say, because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get this now, but I didn't realize it was. I thought it was like a free thing, and they had like, you pay for stuff, but it's not. But I might buy it anyways, because man, that game is fun.
It is. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's getting kind of mixed reviews right now, but
I think they're. It looked to me, because I read some of the comments, it looks like they're just kind of ironing out some bugs still, but the devs are actually responding to people in the comments there, so they're on it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm actually going to put that on my wish list. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, Steam. All right. That was all I brought. But before we get back to work, tell everyone about our Patreon, patreon.com/parttimegamers. Haven't still been doing having our promotion for Halloween. As far as I know, we haven't gotten any more patrons yet, but yeah, if we still get 5 more patrons within the next 2 weeks, the 26th is our last show of the month, and if we get 5 new patrons before that show, I'll be doing my live stream of Alien Isolation in the dark, Halloween night, and I'll probably be playing it for a couple hours at least, assuming we get 5 patrons. So if you want to help us out, help me get a computer that doesn't suck, and and want to watch me pretty much come close to peeing myself on the internet, yeah, become a patron to our of our show at patreon.com/parttimegamers. All right, and with that,
shouldn't promise stuff like that, Sean.
what?
People watching you come close to peeing yourself on the internet, you're gonna,
What?
you might actually get people who want to see that.
The thing is, if I
Well,
play
if
this
they'll
game,
pay.
it probably happened.
That's true. It's true.
I mean, the game we're going to talk about today freaked me out, which,
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah. I was about to launch into it, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, getting back to work today. Game we're talking about, going on with our whole spooky theme for October is Dead by Daylight. It is an asymmetrical survival horror game in which 4 survivors are trying to escape from a single serial killer. And it was developed by Behavior Interactive and published by Starbreeze Studios. You can find it on Steam for PC. Unfortunately, there's no Mac version of it, but you can find it on Steam for PC for $20, or you can find it on the PS4 and for PS4, Xbox One on their respective stores for about $30. So, this game is unique in a couple different ways. First, it really encapsulates the whole horror movie tropes really well. I think, you can actually see, we did play a couple matches of it last week on Part-Time Gaming, which you can find on our YouTube channel, so you can see our playthrough. And mind you, Zach played it a couple times before that, but that was my first time and Ember's first time playing this game, so we were going into it completely blind, so please forgive us for sucking horribly at it.
All of us, even though I played a couple times before. All of us.
Yeah. I have since...
Yeah, but not with us to hold you back.
Yeah.
Well...
I mean, granted, in quite a few of those matches, you were the last one standing, so yeah, I think we were the weak link in those matches.
I don't know. I mean, the first 2, I think I sucked. That last match, I really got my feet under me. But the first 2, it was... Yeah.
But I've since played a little bit more, and both the survivors and as some of the killers, so I have a little bit more insight into it, and plus I've been doing a little bit more research. But I forgot where I was going. Train of thought.
I don't know. Something about surviving.
Yeah. So this game is unique in the fact that it like I was saying, it encapsulates those horror movie tropes. Ember actually mentions it when we were playing last week that it bypasses all of the build-up and just goes right for the climax of the movie type thing, where it's just like the survivors are just trying to survive against this killer. Yep. So I think
like everybody already split up. Everybody's running.
Right.
3 of the characters have already had sex apparently, so they're no longer virgins.
Yep. There were already like 6 other people, but they've already been killed off, kind of like off camera, So
there's only 4 people left.
Yep.
So, but
power's already been shut down. You got to find a way to turn it back on.
Yeah. But it's unique in that fashion. It really gets that whole aesthetic, and it's unique because, like I said, it's an asymmetrical game. And not just in the number of players on each side. Obviously, I just mentioned that there's 4 survivors and there's 1 killer. But also fundamentally how both of those sides plays the game is different. Which I think
is different.
Yeah, I think is really interesting and really gives you... each side has certain advantages and disadvantages. And it kind of evens out somehow. Which is really cool. But but getting into... just what you're trying to do. The survivors are just trying to survive. They have to go around the area and they have to repair 5 generators that are damaged. Once they're able to get all 5 of these generators repaired, there are 2 gates that open somewhere along the perimeter of the play area. You have to find them, open them up, and then you're able to escape from the killer. That's what you're trying to do as the survivors. As the killer, you're trying to do pretty much the exact opposite. You're trying to find the survivors and kill them. Not necessarily kill them. You're trying to actually sacrifice the survivors to this malevolent being just known as the Entity. And in order to make a sacrifice, killer has to first put the survivor into a dying state by hitting them twice. You hit them. There's 3 states of, there's healthy, injured, dying. You have to get them into a dying state, pick them up, and actually hang them from a meat hook. And after a short time, if the survivor isn't rescued, or if they don't successfully escape, it is possible to actually get yourself off of the meat hook. Unless you have a certain perk. Yeah, unless you have a certain perk, though, it's very rare.
It's very hard.
Yeah, I think it's a percentage time each time you you attempt it to get off, and it's like a 4% time, a 4% chance.
Yeah, it happened to me one time, and I just wasn't expecting it to happen at all.
Yeah.
And as soon as I pulled myself off the hook, I was like, oh, what do I do now? And then the killer was right on me again, and I was like, oh crap. But
and something else I did find out.
Yeah, it really does have a helping each other thing that you got to try to find a way to make happen, but it's very difficult compared to other games I've played.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, one thing I did find out that one of the biggest mistakes I was making while we were playing was I was just automatically trying to attempt escape, not knowing that it was such a low chance. And whenever you do attempt escape, it actually does make you die faster on the hook.
Yep. You got a little bar that's counting down how long you're going to live, and as you attempt to escape, you're wriggling around. So I guess it's you're moving around too much and bleeding more because you're moving.
Yeah.
But
eventually you'll die and be sacrificed to the Entity. And that's
unless another person comes up and rescues you.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly difficult to do.
At times,
Did I rescue you, Sean, or was it September?
I don't remember.
It was one of you guys. I did get one rescue out of those 3. I think it was 3 games we
played.
Yeah.
It was me.
It was you. I got one rescue out of it, and I couldn't believe it worked because it's the most nerve-wracking thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because once they're up on the hook, I assume, and I don't know, you can tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume that the killer knows that they're on the hook.
Yes.
He puts them there. Does he get a highlighted thing to show them that they're on the hook?
Yes, he does. But he doesn't necessarily. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily get an indicator that the person is being helped off.
But he does get an indicator as soon as they're off, though, right? Because it disappears.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. As soon as you feel like the killer knows where you are, you just, I mean, at least for me, my heart starts pounding. I'm like, holy crap! I can't be right here anymore. I have to move, and you can't run because
we'll get
they
into
can hear you better.
Yeah. So that's the killer is just trying to sacrifice the survivors, not necessarily killing themselves. There's this random thing in there called a memento mori, where you can petition the Entity to be able to kill the survivors yourself and stuff, but that's not really important. It just makes it a little bit more final because instead of having to drag them to a hook, you can just kill them outright. But going into some of the differences, how fundamentally the survivors and the killer play differently. For one, with the survivors, they view everything in a third-person view. So they have a very, very large field of vision. They can look around corners, they can look over objects and stuff like that. So they can just be much more conscious of their environment. But there's no way to kill the killer. He's immortal. There's no way for them to fight back. So the survivors really need to rely on stealth and agility to deal with the killer. Something else that's a little bit different is they can equip items that help them, like toolboxes, med kits, stuff like that. But if they die during the trial, the item is lost. The killer, on the other hand, they view everything in a first-person view. So they have a much smaller, much more narrow field of view. It really does make it much more possible for the survivors to sneak around them. Because I've had occasions where I'm literally around the corner in this area, and there was one where I kept on failing repairing this one generator, and every time I failed, I just backed up and hid behind this giant rock, and for most of the game, that just worked. The killer would come in, like damage the generator, look around, not see anything, and just walk off. So it's just that difference in vision, how they view in the game, makes a big difference, and it's just really interesting to me. Something else that the killers can do, which one of the tips later on is concerning when survivors run. When a survivor runs, they actually leave trails behind that the killer can see. So running is not necessarily the best idea for survivors, which is kind of counterintuitive at times, because the guy is following you. You want to try to get away from him.
At times.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and also,
he's big and fast, but don't run.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is the killers can actually run faster than the survivors.
Right.
And eventually, if they're able to stay on the survivor for long enough, they start getting buffs to their movement speed, so they move even faster to try to catch you.
Yeah.
So
you can't outrun them.
Yeah.
It's not even like you can run but you can't hide. It's like you better hide because you can't run.
Yeah. Also, unlike the survivors, the killers don't have items that they can equip, but instead they have an innate ability that's tied to the killer. There's a bunch of different killers, and each one of them has a unique ability. Like the one that I've been playing the most lately is the Trapper, who he can set down bear traps. That's his thing. He can set down these bear traps, and I've actually gotten a couple kills. Well, not necessarily kills, but knocked down a couple survivors just because of those bear traps. You put them in tall grass, and, or like right next to a window or something like that, and they try to escape, hit the trap, and then you're able to catch them. They also, one thing that's unique about the killer is they have what's referred to as a terror radius, where it's one of the hints for the survivors. And it kind of gives them a little bit more awareness if they can't see the killer. The terror radius, it actually is a radius around the killer that if survivors in it, they hear a heartbeat sound. And it's just this audio indicator that the killer is nearby. And it's also terrifying.
Right, I was about to say that. Like, it's super useful, but super horrible at the same time.
Yes.
All of us, and it gets louder and faster when the killer is closer. You're like, okay, so I know I gotta move, but which way do I go? Which way is he coming from? Am I gonna run right into him?
Yeah, and it's if you're not calm, if you're not like really thinking about it, it is a little panic inducing to start hearing that, because then you're just like, oh crap, where are they?
Yeah, your instinct is to jam the run key and just book it, which is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
My instinct is to stand really, really still.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was like, every time that heartbeat started, I was like, oh, I got to get out of this area, so I want to like run as fast as I can. But
I stand and turn and see if the heartbeat slows, and so I know which way.
That's smart. Yeah.
That seems like a much more sensible thing to do in this game.
Well, I had this really good crisis training at this job I used to have.
Yeah, and me not so much. But another thing that I actually forgot to write on the notes is another little indicator for the killer to help the survivors is what they refer to as the stain, which is just this. It's just this like red cone. It almost looks like just a red light in front of the killer that indicates what he sees. So it gives you a little bit more of an indicator. It's like, okay, he's looking the opposite direction. I can try to sneak past him.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I never even saw it. Huh.
Yeah. So another thing.
It must be pretty light.
Yeah, it looks just like a red light in front of them in a cone shape. That like when they're chasing behind you and that light starts getting really close, that means you're probably going to die soon. But yeah, also we're going to be saying a bunch of stuff. We're not going to be able to cover everything. Actually, in the game, they have a tutorials and help section. It goes through a lot of this stuff and gives you a lot, not necessarily like numbers, but gives you a good idea of what you're contending with and stuff, which is good. But one of the other so those are some of the fundamental differences between the survivors and the killer. Another couple things you have, like, there's actually a ranked mode for this where you can play against people online. You can there is actually a progression to the different characters and stuff. There's perks, items, and all that jazz that you can unlock through what's referred to as the blood web. Each time you gain a level, a new blood web is created, and you actually gain a level by completing that current blood web. So it has, like, the first blood web only has like level 1 only has like 3 nodes in it. Once you unlock all 3 of those nodes, you level up and you gain another blood web, and you continue on. And each time you get another blood web, each time you get a new level, the blood web is randomly generated. So higher levels have are more likely to give you better items, better perks, stuff like that, but it's all random.
Right.
Which I actually think is kind of interesting. It makes it so that it gives you that incentive to keep playing once you hit the max level, which is 50.
Well, it also makes it so that you can't, like, there's not really a way to build a character that is the best way that everybody would just do. So
yeah,
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, you have to try to kind of, instead of like random loot in like Diablo or whatever, it's, random blood web nodes and this. But yeah, and then eventually it actually gets to the point, I don't know at what point it happens, but you can, like, you'll get this huge blood web, and as you continue on that same blood web, the entity will actually start destroying nodes. So it's like it makes that randomly generated aspect of it even more interesting, because, like, okay, it might show up on my blood web, but if I don't get to it fast enough, the entity will destroy it, and I'll have to level up and get a new blood web and try to get it again. So it does give you that little bit of incentive to just keep on playing it, even if you get to max level, because you can unlock better stuff, and it allows you to unlock just more stuff by keeping on playing. And the survivors can get items, these one-use items called offerings, which they're just used up at the beginning of the trial. They can have a bunch of different effects, and perks, which just give you different add effects. As we mentioned before, the killer can't equip items, but they can still get offerings and perks. So, to a couple different tips that we kind of accumulated in at least the few times that we've actually played. Running can potentially be a liability. As we mentioned before, the killers can actually track the survivors who run, because it leaves scratches and such on surfaces where they go by. So really the best you can try to do is run a short amount of time in order to break line of sight, and then hide as effectively as you can in that short amount of time you have. Because, like, I've played as a killer as well, and have been able to track people down who didn't really know as well, and ran the entire time, and I was still able to catch up to them even though they broke line of sight, because they still just kept on running. So that's there are ways to help you out to break line of sight and get away from the killer, other than just running, though. There are, like, door openings and stuff that have pallets on the side of them. As you run by, you can drop the pallet down, which will basically kind of cut off that entrance from the killer. Granted, the killer can actually still break those pallets, but it'll take time to do that, which might give you slow them down. Yeah, it slows them down. And if you time it well, if you're able to get there fast enough and the killer is following you in, if you drop the pallet basically on top of the killer, not only will it do the same effect, it's slowing him down, it'll actually stun him for a few seconds.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, which has happened multiple times to me, and I've lost the survivor because of it. So another thing you can, like, the only other way that you can actively fight back against the killer is by using a flashlight. What you can do is if you can shine a flashlight into the killer's eyes, and it'll actually temporarily blind them. And I've had this happen.
That's if you have a flashlight, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, is you have to try to find the flashlight in the first place. But once you do, it's a very powerful defensive item, because you can also save other survivors by using it. If the killer is carrying someone to one of the meat hooks and you blind him, he drops the person he's carrying.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we never got to do that, or at least I never found a flashlight. So
yeah, I've never gotten a flashlight either. So yeah, I've gotten like a toolbox and a med kit with one of my survivors, and I've immediately got killed the next round and lost both of them. So, so a couple of little tips with the survivors. It's really about just taking advantage of that third person view, being aware of where things are, trying to find good escape points, and to a certain degree, there's something to be said about helping people out, but there's also a certain level of selfishness that you want to try to do as well. So, like, if someone is getting knocked down and you're one generator away from opening the gate, instead of going to save that one person, it's probably better to just finish with the generator.
Hit the generator.
Yeah. So
it should be noted just that more survivors per generator makes it repair faster, because it does take a long time to do it just as one person. So if like all 4 people are around one generator, you can repair that sucker quick. But of course, that it's a higher chance the killer finding everybody grouped together in one spot.
And another thing that with the killer, some tips for them is whenever the survivors have to whenever they're repairing the generator or trying to heal someone using a med kit, or a couple different other things, they will occasionally have to do with what's called the skill shot, which is, if you're familiar with Gears of War, it's very similar to their active reload system.
Yep.
Where it comes up with a circle and a little red line that's going around the circle. There's a portion of it that has like a small white area and a larger hollow blank area. You have to try to hit the button when that line is in that section. If you're able to get into that hollow section, it's good. Nothing happens. You can continue on. If you're repairing a generator, it doesn't malfunction, you just can continue on as normal. If you get in that tiny white area at the beginning, it actually gives you a boost to repairing it. The thing is, if you miss, like when you're repairing a generator, it backfires. It malfunctions and causes a very large explosion that the killer can hear and gets an indicator of wherever they are on the map.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even so much like just that they can hear, like it's highlighted for them.
Yeah.
And they can.
Not real good with that.
What's that?
I wasn't real good with those timed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
I didn't
until
understand the mechanic going in.
It wasn't until like the end of the second game that I remembered how to do it. It's hard. It comes up really fast.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, is it just comes out of nowhere. So you have to. That makes it even more intense, because you're trying to focus on, like, okay, I'm trying to repair this thing. I need to make sure that I'm focusing on this in case a skill shot comes up. And at the same time, you have to try to do that in the middle of, being aware of your surroundings so the killer doesn't come up on you.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I did pick up some tips from, not that they told me this, but just some stuff I observed when I was playing the games previously, before we did part-time gaming, from some other survivors. And one of the things that I noticed is, like, no matter how many people you have around the generator, if one person fails it, everybody just scatters. Like, you don't run, everybody just walks away from the generator. You just leave it, because he will go there like 90% of the time. So it's really stupid just to keep trying at that point. You just gotta wait for him to leave.
Yeah.
Although, that would
Although
have been a good tip.
Yeah.
Although I've also heard a tip of being able to use that as a bluff.
A distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I didn't like I never knew exactly where he was, so I always thought that it would backfire and I would just get destroyed. So I never risked it, but
Well,
it's a good idea.
there's actually a couple. There's one of the survivors, at least the one that I've been primarily playing, where he actually plays kind of as a tank.
Okay.
Like he actually gets bonus points and stuff like that whenever he takes a hit for another survivor, stuff like that.
Nice.
And he's eventually able to get a perk where he can bring himself out of a dying state.
Whoa.
So, I mean, granted, it's further on, and again, it's in the blood web and it's randomized, so you don't know exactly when you're going to get it. But yeah, he can
That's still
eventually,
pretty cool, though.
yeah, he can get a perk that makes it so that he can recover himself out of a dying state, which is very
That's
helpful.
awesome.
But like one of the things I noticed when I was playing as the killer is oftentimes I was getting too focused on trying to take out one player, and
Yeah.
they probably had a bunch of perks that helped them, escape and be able to get away and stuff. And while I was focusing on that one player, the other
Everybody
three
else was
got
working against
all of
you.
the generators repaired, and
Yeah.
you so that's one of the things with the killers. You can't let yourself be too focused on one character, on one of the survivors, because there's 4 of them out there. So if you're focusing on one, where are the other 3?
Right.
So you just got to be conscious of that. Oh, and also make sure know your killer, what kind of powers they have, and utilize them to the best of your abilities. And that's a big thing with the killer. So like I was mentioning with the trapper, trying to strategically place your bear traps, putting them in tall grass so it makes them more difficult to see, putting them near, near a generator but not directly in front of it. Again, near like in grass, or strategically putting it outside of a window and trying to kind of funnel them towards that. Stuff like that. There's ones where, like, what was it? Some of the other ones. There's the hillbilly. He has a chainsaw, and while he's, you don't want to rev that up too much because it lets all of the survivors hear where you are. So you want to try to like be as sneaky as you can with that, and then like use it when you're pretty sure you're going to be able to get them. So like there's the Wraith that can go invisible. There's the Nurse, I think, that can teleport and stuff like that. And all of these different killers play very differently. So you really need to focus on how exactly do you want to play them, or like what kind of style you want to play, and really just learn that very well. Another note that I learned just from playing both sides, survivors and killers, and sucking at both of them. If you're just going for leveling up, if you're just trying to accumulate the bloodstones that you can spend on the blood web to level up your characters, I think it, in my experience, is much easier to get a substantial amount of bloodstones playing as a killer than it is playing as a survivor. Unless,
yeah, that sucks to know that now.
Yeah, because like the games that we were playing, when I was playing as a survivor, I was averaging maybe like 1,500 bloodstones per game, and we were playing horribly. Like we were just getting annihilated as the survivors. When I started playing as a killer, I still was awful. Like there were matches when literally everyone escaped. And it's like
Wow.
And part of it is because my computer sucks, and the frame rate on my computer was bad enough that I could try to get the first hit, and oftentimes when I would go to try to get a second hit, I couldn't get that second hit for whatever reason. Like I would hit the button to try to hit them, and they're already to my left. And so granted, part of it is I probably legitimately suck at this game, but it is, partly my computer as well.
Never.
But in those matches where I did horribly as a killer, I still was averaging 10 to 12,000 bloodstone per game. So
Yeah, that's better.
yeah, that's a significantly.
Yeah.
It's like almost 10 times more what I was making as a survivor, and that's playing as a bad killer. So
Aren't all killers bad?
well,
Is that part of the definition?
being bad at being a killer, I should say. It's like apparently instead of using the knife to kill the survivors, I was using the knife to make them a sandwich or something and be friendly to them. You imagine Mike Myers using his knife to make a sandwich for someone, and amuses me for whatever reason.
Sounds like an SNL skit, like at the end, like the poor killer is just sitting there and it takes off his mask. I was just trying to give him a sandwich.
I just wanted to cut some ham for them. Anyway, so if you're looking into just accumulating a bunch of bloodstones, even if you don't even intend on using them for the killer, want to use them for the survivor, play it's a killer. You'll accumulate a bunch of the bloodstones, and you can use them to level up whatever you want.
Well, when I go back into it, that's what I'll use then.
Yeah. It could, like the highest level character I have as a survivor is level 2, and the highest level character right now I have as a killer is level 5.
Wow.
So, and
you played more as the killer or about the same?
Actually a little bit more as the killer. I think with the survivors, I think I played a couple more matches after.
Oh, okay. So
so I think I've played maybe 7 matches as a survivor. I think I've probably played somewhere in the neighborhood of probably actually right around there, about 6 or 7 as a killer. And yeah, it's a significant difference. All right, but that's about all I have on the subject. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to make note of?
No, I mean I think you pretty much covered it. It's a good game. We played with, as anybody who watches our stream can see, we played with like totally random people.
Yeah.
But I still think, and I think we talked about this, that game would be so much fun with like friends if you had like all 5 people. The problem is, I guess you can do that. You can set up a private game.
Yeah.
And get a friend in as the killer as well. Yeah. That would be just so much ridiculous fun. And I think it would be cool if everybody was on the same voice chat, so the killer could actually hear you talking to each other. You'd have to be really careful with what you say and where you say it. I think that would be a lot of fun. It would be hilarious, but I recommend it.
Yeah, I could just imagine Dan playing as the killer and just trolling us the whole game.
It would happen.
Yeah. Anything you wanted to add, Ember?
It was hard.
Yeah. First, like I said, that was the first on the video that we recorded last week. That was our first time playing it, and I did a little bit of research, just going through the tutorial and help section on it, and it gave me a little bit idea of what it was. And I've seen it played before, so I had a little bit of an idea of what was going on. Ember went into it completely blind, and it was really kind of entertaining to me the first time she got put up onto a meat hook.
I bet.
She was just like,
that's pretty much how I was in like. That's how I was in like my first game too. I was just like, I had no idea what I was doing. Dead within the first like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was really well done. I mean, if we're talking about horror, the gore of it, without being just gratuitous, was just like, yep, that would happen. And the entity was legitimately creepy. Terrifying. Like I love the way that was portrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just the whole aesthetic is really awesome.
Yeah,
and I agree. Playing with all people you knew in chat would be loads of fun.
Oh, it'd be so much fun. You could make a drinking game out of it. It would be so much fun. Take a shot every time you put on a meat hook. Oh, well, that
challenge accepted. Well, yeah. In that case,
I'm all in for that.
All right.
5.
That is incorrect. Anyway,
before we even got started, I got one wrong.
Yeah. We're doing higher lower rules. So, let's see who goes first. Zach is going first.
Yeah.
All right, got 6 questions for you. So, we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, question number 1. Including DLC characters, how many killers are in the game? And your range is from 0 to 9.
7.
That is incorrect. Ember is the correct answer. Higher or lower than 7?
Lower.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
Including all the DLCs, there are 9 killers.
Oh.
All right.
That one goes to
Oh, well.
Sean.
Yeah, that one doesn't
Gets
go to
that
anyone. All right, question number 2. This
Wait,
goes
who's
in...
it for?
What's it?
This for September?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Question number 2. This goes into the different. There are actually different levels of items that you can get. How many different toolboxes can be found in the game? And your range is between 0 and 9.
6.
Very nice.
Oh.
Yep, there are 6 different toolboxes that you can find. Nice.
She knew that. She has them all memorized. What are they, September?
Duh.
Common, uncommon, and very rare.
Yeah, okay, alright.
Okay, question number 3, back to Zach. Michael Myers from the Halloween movie series is in the game. He's known as the Shape. In the movie lore, what year did he kill his sister Judith? And your range is 1960 to 1969.
64?
Not quite. Ember is the correct answer. Higher or earlier or later than 1964?
Earlier.
It's correct.
Damn
It is
you,
1963.
Ugh.
You're so close.
My first inclination was to say 63, and then I was like, no, that's not gonna do it. I don't even have a reason for it. It just was.
All right, back to Ember. How many charges does the Ranger medkit start with? And your range is 20 to 29.
25.
Incorrect. Zach, is it correct answer higher or lower than 25?
Higher?
Incorrect.
I'm kicking ass. I'm doing so well.
It is 24.
What a weird number.
Yeah, I know. That's
it's
why
like
I picked it.
212.
That was the biggest problem with
Bad.
trying to find a number that wasn't a 0 and with a 0 in this. So that was one of the few that did not end in 0. So that's why I picked it. Anyway, we're going back to Zach. And you're probably your favorite character, Bill Overbeck from Left 4
Yes.
Dead, can gain a perk called Left Behind, which can give him a bonus to repair speed for generators. At its first
crap.
level, how much of a bonus does it give? And your range is from 10 to 19.
Oh, is this a
This is
percentage bonus?
Yes, as a percentage bonus as
Okay.
one of his perks. No,
Is it?
go ahead.
Ah, shoot. 13?
Incorrect.
Fudge. Monkeys.
Ember is the correct answer. Higher or lower than 13?
Higher.
That is correct. It is
15?
19.
Oh, geez. Okay, I would have been wrong either way.
Yeah, it has each of the perks has 3 levels, and it goes from 19 to 22 to 25 for him.
19%? Oh man,
Yeah.
I thought the first one was way lower than that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, that's the crazy thing is it's 19% per generator that still needs to be repaired.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So if but the thing is, I think that's if he's the only one left.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So if he's
That's a bad situation to be
if
in.
he's the last survivor alive, and there's and for every generator that's left, he gets that bonus.
Nice.
So, all right, last question, going to Ember. I misspelled this word entirely. Okay, changing that even though you guys don't see it. Anyway, how many hatchets? For whatever reason, I had the word sachets instead of hatchets in there.
Bob Satchet?
Bob Satchet? No. How many hatchets does the Huntress start each trial with? And your range is between 0 and 9.
Seven.
Incorrect. Zach, is the correct answer higher or lower than 7?
I'm gonna go with lower because I'm scared. I need a point.
That is correct.
Yes.
It starts with 5.
Thank you.
So, coincidentally,
That makes
Zach, one of the questions that you got right was the answer you gave at the very beginning. So
5.
Yep.
I knew it was gonna come up at some point. I had my timing off.
Yeah.
I purposely didn't take what should have been the safe choice because the last one was so not near game theory.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You did get that lucky guess too.
Yeah. That was nice. All right. I already forgot who had how many points. I don't really keep track anymore because it's just entertaining.
September
now.
wins
Pretty
Yeah,
sure I won.
with at least
Yeah, I think
3
so.
points to my half a point.
I think you got at least one. I mean, you got the last
Nah,
one, so
I consider it a half a point. It was kind of a give me. You know, it was she guessed high. I
Yeah.
guessed lower than that.
All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of our workday. Thank you for joining us. If you find value in the show and would like to support us, you can at patreon.com/parttimegamers. You can also help us by subscribing to our YouTube channel or by giving us a 5-star review on iTunes. Last time I checked, we still don't have any new reviews. So, yeah, get in there and we'll mention it on our show. If you'd like to contact the show, you can with our email, parttimegamers.cast@gmail.com, or on Twitter at PGGcast. You can find me on Twitter at Cyrenex. I'm trying to be a little bit more active on there. I have a post on there recently about my random ginormous Baymax coffee mug now, which I've been still working on the cup since the beginning of the show. Yeah, there's still a bit in there. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Cyrenex or on Blizzard.net with the battle tag Cyrenex number 1996. You can find the show and the rest of my work at caffeineinducedproductions.com. Amber, where can people find you on the internet?
I can be found at 9 of 12 on Twitter and Twitch. My battle tag is 9 of 12 number 1102, and you can hear me at geekgrills.com.
And how about you, Zach?
Although I'm not really super active on it, you can sometimes find me on Blizzard, BlizzardNet BattleNet tag with the battle tag Zachalith number 1466.
All right, everyone. Until next time, we are the Part-Time Gamers, clocking out.